What's up, everybody? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic.
I'm Jammin John.
And we have yet another album review for you, and another one that we had on our radar because it's on 20 buck spin, and it's death metal, therefore it is on our radar.
Yeah, 20 buck spin doesn't miss.
Yeah.
So I don't ever turn down a chance to review anything that's on that label, because I know automatically it's going to kick ass.
Yeah, that's kind of a safe assumption. But needless to say, we should go over it just because we want to know how much ass it kicks. So we're going to go over the latest offering from Laceration, Erode. This also comes out on the 26th of July, again on 20 buck spin records. This band formed in 2006 in Windsor, California. Though this is only their second full length in their entire career, there was a period, I guess, where they were doing mostly demos and splits. I think there was maybe an EP in there. I actually got into this band courtesy of a collection that I picked up when we were at MDF, I believe the first time, 2019, Remnants, and pretty much just covered all this band stuff to that point, and I was like, dude, this band's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Then we ended up reviewing their last album, Demise, and thought it was pretty solid. And when I heard the tracks for this one, I was like, dude, this sounds great. And yeah, this is just flat out old school death metal. It's so damn 90s. Like, if you told me this came out in 1992, I would probably have no reason to just not believe you once I heard like a track.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I heard the singles from this record and I was like, yeah, dude, this is everything I love about death metal. Like, everything. I was genuinely looking forward to reviewing this record.
Yeah, and I mean, baseline, I mean, yeah, 20 buck spin doesn't miss. We'll just go ahead.
They don't.
Yeah, we can just walk out of here like, dude, this rules. Buy. It's 20 buck spin. Just go ahead and get it. If you like death metal,
Yep.
buy this.
Yep.
But we're going to talk about it because this album was awesome. Everything about this is based on riffs, groove, and just really tight, catchy songwriting. Flat out across the board, there isn't really a song in here that does not demonstrate this band's ability to write just catchy but brutal riffs. I'm not talking about like filling around with a tremendous amount of melody that sounds bright or sunny or anything like that. Everything on here is dark and steeped in just, I don't know, grossness and grime. And one of the reasons, I think, in terms of at least the overall sound of this, is the production team of Matt Harvey from Exhumed. And this was mixed and mastered by Greg Wilkinson from Autopsy, Static Abyss, Deathgrave. Dude's an amazing bassist and also an amazing producer. The sound of this album, it sounds like 90s death metal, but like just take like a thin layer of grit off.
Yep.
Because it still has all that just sort of like raw filth to it.
Just a slight like twinge of modern production, just to tweak those levels ever so slightly, just to make it pop a little more.
And separate the sound well enough to, you know, make sure nothing bleeds over too much. It sounds natural, like it was just jammed in the studio, and then they kind of just like, all right, we're going to just kind of, you know, clean it up just a little bit and then ship it out with some badass artwork.
Now, while this album is short, clocks in just a little bit over 32 minutes, they do a good job to put in at least like transitional atmosphere in between songs. It's not steeped in it by any means, but there are little bits and pieces here and there that either lead into a track or lead out of it. Like, it opens up with the interlude track Degradation, just ominous horror samples. Builds in nicely to the first actual track, Excised, which immediately just rips your face off with a giant beefy chuggy riff, big cavernous growls. I like how the vocals sit just a little bit back and let everything breathe a little bit. But yeah, it's an immediate kick in the face and just riffy.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get riffy throughout. They do not let up.
The drums are punishing no matter what gear they're in. I mean, there's a ton of groove in here, but there's also a ton of blast. There's honestly like a really good balance between the two. The last one, Demise, I thought was like, you know, a little bit more like kind of a balance between death and thrash metal. Like, there were a lot of thrashy elements. There still are in the riffs, but in terms of like how the songs are structured, this is just straight up 90s death metal with a boatload of groove. And the vocals, I really like the sound of this guy's vocals. It's very Chuckish, like early death, like very much like Leprosy, Spiritual Healing, maybe even a little bit of Scream Bloody Gore in there. It's kind of in that mid-range. It's kind of ghastly, and like there's a little bit of like a kind of a wheeze and a gurgle to it. It sounds appropriately creepy, and then the rest of the time the riffs are just hitting you over the head, just crushing. And a lot of variety in terms of how they switched up. Like, this album does kind of everything a lot of death metal albums do. and I'm not going to fault it because the formula's been sound forever.
Yeah.
But it's how it's paced. It's how they like to switch up from like more that straight up like kind of hefty suffocation style of chugging to like more Morbid Angel tremolo harmonies and shit like that. And how they kind of move around in the song and the transitions, which are smooth as hell.
And it doesn't happen all at once. It's not an immediate, here's everything we have. It doesn't throw it all on the table all at once. Like, even coming from, again, Degradation, where it's ominous and a little bit creepy, and then it gets into Excised, which is a little bit thrashier and a little bit chuggier, and then by the time you get to Sadistic Enthrallment, then it's full bore, like, Morbid Angel tremolos and evil sounding. It just kind of keeps building tension and adding more elements as it goes along. It's got that kind of dynamic to it.
And the pacing in this album, I think, is really good because not only is it, like, kind of a constant barrage of just killer riffs and grooves, blast beats, again, all the things that you expect out of death metal. But there's a lot of cool, like, transitional atmosphere. Sadistic Enthrallment kicks off with a Hellraiser quote, very, very appropriate. And the more, I guess, acoustic, atmospheric, instrumental, like, interlude track, Dreams of the Formless, actually features a quote from Iceman, which we just brought up Iceman not too long ago. He seems like he's trending once again, at least with death metal. But those little pauses for atmosphere, they kind of give these songs a little bit of a setting before they just come in and just like run you over, because like the pace of this album, when it comes down to songs, like these songs are at it. There's really no milling about, and they are meticulously crafted, I think, in terms of like the pacing within the songs too, because everything kind of hits right when it needs to.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you get to a section when there's like blast beats or something, it's like, man, it'd be awesome if they like kind of grooved this up or half-timed it, boom. By the time you're done thinking it,
it happens.
It happens. It's like, oh, dude, that was just great timing for that.
Yeah, and that's another cool thing too, because as intense as most of these songs are, and they're all really intense, like it doesn't hang out too long in either camp. Like there's not a moment where it's too blasty and it just sticks to that and there's never any groove. Like there's an even kiltered mix of intense blast beats and then groovy sections or halftime sections or whatever, like, and everything's given a chance to breathe. Like it doesn't transition out of it too fast. There are a lot of crazy transitions, but they let everything breathe a little bit and let you hang on to a groove before they punch you in the face with the next thing.
Again, baseline, you could just draw comparisons to just 90s death metal in general, or bands that really kind of latch on that sound. Skeletal Remains, I mean, a lot of Cannibal Corpse elements on here. Blood Red Throne, Hyperdontia. But within 90s death metal, there's still like enough variety. Let's, you know, when there's so many like different camps of it, like you have like the more brutal stuff from like New York, it pops up, like Suffocation. You have, you know, Swedish stuff, which doesn't show up here, but I'm totally okay with that. But, you know, I like the fact that they kind of switch up stuff, like namely that mix between Floridian death metal and like New York death metal. Like Vile Incarnate has some really cool transitions between these syncopated heavy chugs that remind me so much of Suffocation. Like they just have that brutal heft, but there's still like a good solid hook to it. And then tagging it with like Morbid Angel style tremolo hooks and harmonies. So you get this good balance of like sinister and atmospheric and just flat out cave your head in brutality. And sometimes they just favor one a little bit more of the other, like Carcerality. Short, vicious, it has some of the most brutal chugging riffs on it. Still a little bit of melody in there, but it feels way more geared toward brutality rather than atmosphere. It's just a flat out vicious short song that has bad intentions for your neck and spine.
And then there's songs like Strangled by Hatred and I Erode that just exude dynamic. Both these songs are very, very heavy hitters, but these are jam-packed with pretty much everything you love about death metal. Pretty much everything you love about 90s death metal. Strangled by Hatred is probably, in my opinion at least, one of the heaviest, hard-hitting songs on this record. It is a monster of a song. Starts out with very aggressive riffing, and then every transition that they have on this song hits harder than the last. And let's not forget the breakdown in this song, which is straight Suffocation worship. Oh. It is just the heaviest, just punch your buddy in the face, throw a table, throw a chair, get back behind the bar, throw a bunch of bottles, get arrested, go to jail, one of those things. And then I Erode kind of shares the same mentality. Packed full of groove, packed full of tremolo, packed full of blasts, and just once again, everything just hits in the right place at the right time and leaves you wanting more.
Honestly, those two songs are the big standouts for me, mainly because they are the two longest tracks in here, and I feel like there's a lot more explored in them, or at least they take a lot of these like riffy moments and kind of just draw them out of it to great effect. Like, it doesn't sound like they're doing too much in here, and it really shouldn't, because again, this album's only like a scratch over 32 minutes. And for the most part, I would say that there is no time wasted on here, even with the atmospheric sections on there, because they blend in the songs really well. I will say that there might be some time trimmed on here. I do feel like a couple of tracks in here, namely Impaling Sorrow and Carcerality, are a bit on the short side. And it's kind of noticeable because you kind of feel like there could be like a little bit more song, whether it's like repeating a riff toward the end to sort of like bookend the song, or just kind of carrying on a couple more measures with, you know, the riffs that are already there.
I think Carciality does it more so than Impaling Sorrow, again, at least in my opinion. Carciality had a very abrupt ending to it. Like, it definitely felt like there could have been way more going on. Like, they just hit a cymbal grab and it's over. In the case of Impaling Sorrow, that seemed like it all flowed very well and they got everything out that they wanted to. I just think it was a barn burner track. Like, you know, you could throw that in at like the end of a set. Like, you guys want one more? Here's a 2.5 minute kick you in the face. Like, okay, cool.
Carcerality, I definitely felt it because there's like this cool halftime breakdown at the end. It's like, all right, they're going to set up this groove. We're going to kind of bounce with it. And like, there's some like good bouncing moments on there. It's like, dude, yeah, that's like, you can almost shake your ass that. But, you know, of course, like, you got to bang your head because, you know, you can't just start boogieing in the pit. They'll kick your ass.
I mean, most metalheads are musicians, so if you can walk and chew gum or pat your head and rub your stomach, you could probably bang your head and shake your ass.
But Impaling Sorrow especially just felt very short. In fact, it's shorter than the interlude Dreams of the Formless, because I just feel like there could be like a little bit more song there and it would not hurt the awesome flow of this album, because I would say this album stays on one particular track. It changes around speed a little bit, but, you know, the intensity never really wanes on here. You know, you get moments to kind of like let it well up again, but trust me, it's there throughout. And as for the riffs, they just pour out of this album like a waterfall of corpses and viscera, I guess. That seems appropriate. Probably wouldn't smell good. I couldn't call that a waterfall. That's a corpse viscera fall or whatever now, I guess, right? Someone should call it cops. That's what I'm basically saying there. If you see that, call the cops. Something bad happened. But as far as negatives, that was about it. I mean, baseline, yeah, I could say like, yeah, this sounds like a ton of death metal out there, but it's not really a huge complaint. Like, this is kind of the death metal that is like always accepted, you know, whenever it's presented to me. Like, oh yeah, this sounds like stuff that I love, that I cut my teeth on, and it's done exceedingly well. So yeah, I'm probably gonna dig it. It's not like too meat and potatoes. It's not too overly technical. It's the perfect bowl of porridge that Goldilocks, that bitch, stole from that little bear. He was the real victim of the story. She fucking took his bed too. What a fucking bitch, dude.
Took his bed, took his chair, took his porridge.
Yeah.
Man.
They should have mauled her.
Yeah, as far as the negatives are concerned, I don't really have any. I don't even have necessarily the complaints that you have about the two shorter songs. I guess that's one. Carciality and its abrupt end, but that's about it. Like, this is done really, really well. They're not reinventing the wheel by any means, but they are presenting everything perfectly. This is a riffy bastard. Like, it just keeps throwing them. Every time you think there's not another riff they could come up with, they come up with another riff, and then they throw some awesome tremolo tags on it, and you're just like, yeah, packed full of groove. I don't have any complaints, and for that reason, I'm going to give it a solid 4. Teetering on a 4.5. Like, this is a pretty damn good record. It's got great transitions, jam-packed full of riffs, even kiltered between blasts and grooves. The lead work, although we didn't really cover it, they're short and sweet. They fit the song. Each of the leads actually fit the song pretty appropriately. Packed full of sinister tremolos. It's very evil sounding. It hits hard when it needs to. If you are a big fan of definitely Skeletal Remains, I got huge Skeletal Remains vibes. Cannibal Corpse, Suffocation, Hyperdontia. It flows like a Hyperdontia record. So yeah, if you like any of that, check these guys out. I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I'm at a solid 4 as well. This is just death metal done right. Like, there's, again, a lot of familiarity here, but it's a good familiarity. Like, this isn't going to like a family reunion where you see a bunch of people you don't want to see. Like, oh God, they're still alive?
Right.
Fuck. No, this is like, you know, running into your buddies that you've been hanging out with since the 90s. Like, dude, you want to sit back and drink some beers and listen to a lot of like Autopsy albums and shit? It's like, hell yes, I do. Yeah. It just has that level of familiarity. And I mean, I'm a sucker for riffs, and every track in here is just loaded with killer riffs. I love the production. It sounds, again, like retro, but still modern at the same time. Like, they found that perfect sweet spot. You know, great lead work, a lot of like, dive bombs, but everything just fits. That's kind of the thing with this album. Everything is in its right place. And it's weird that I'm kind of quoting a Radiohead song for this review, but it's accurate just in terms of just everything works on here. There's an intro and an interlude on here, and I didn't bitch about it because they set it up so damn well. If you are a big fan, again, of all the bands we mentioned, like namely Skeletal Remains, Hyperdontia, and Cannibal Corpse, check this out. This thing is a beast and problematic because, again, yet another awesome release from 20 Bucks Ben. More killer death metal. Guys, just calm down this year. There's a lot of death metal that's fucking awesome.
Right. We gotta. My end of year list is looking rough. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna make 40. It might be larger this year. You gotta chill out a little bit.
No, seriously, don't chill out. Give me more.
Don't. Yeah, keep it coming. Go.
Don't listen to us.
No,
I wouldn't listen to us.
We're dumb.
Yeah. So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If you'd like to help us out there, there's a link down below to thrallsmetal.com. Our Patreon link is there. It is also on our channel. Up the banner in the bottom right-hand corner. But if you're looking for Thralls Metal stuff, you have to go to thrallsmetal.com. We have t-shirts, both old and new. The old ones are discounted, provided we have your size. And we even have hats too, so if you're looking for any of that, click the link down below.
Tons of stuff going on at Thralls of Metal, of course. Album reviews, discography rankings. We will get to Meshuggah, I promise you. It's going to happen. Is it metal, is it not metal? States of metal, collection updates, because this fucker can't stop collecting music. Why would he at this point? He's got more music than most record stores. I think we're going to do more topical discussions too. It seems like you guys really enjoyed that. We really enjoyed doing it, so we'll find more shit to talk about. Anyway, all these things we do at Thralls of Metal all the time is all for you guys, really. It's not for us. It's something we do. It's for you guys. We appreciate you. Thank you to everyone that's supported us along the way and gotten us this far. I can't believe Thralls of Metal continues to grow. It baffles me, really. But yeah, thank you to all our family, our friends, our subscribers, everybody who's been involved. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys absolutely rule, and we have a ton of stuff in store for you. So one more big thank you, because you guys are awesome, and we will catch you later.